Hello, welcome to Lunch with Lee. Today we talk about water leaks, which is a year-round thing in Houston here where we are, but it's also, as I look outside, it's nasty. And it's going to get worse tonight. So this is a great opportunity for us to look at water leaks when it comes to chimneys. The first thing you need to think about is all water leaks are bad. And the initial design of how your fireplace is determines the length of time your fireplace lasts, how much maintenance is required. So getting that initial design correct is very, very important. I'll probably go over that in another kind of episode, but keeping water off the structure from the beginning, having your gutter set up correctly, everything else, incredibly important to make sure that you're not either having to do constant maintenance or it's by the time you find out there's a problem, it's kind of too late. But how do I know if my chimney's leaking? The first one is, and this is the obvious one, is I see dripping water. And there's a lot of different types of dripping water you see in fireplaces. Sometimes it's just sort of wet, meaning it's soaking through the structure and kind of just showing up from the bottom up. Sometimes you literally see dripping water like from the front part of your fireplace, right where you put in your wood. It's called the facing gap. And there's lots of reasons for that, which we don't have time to get into today. And sometimes it's every time there's extraordinarily windblown rain, I literally see water dripping right where you kind of put your logs or your gas logs or anything else. I see water dripping in there. So anytime you see water in your fireplace, there's a good chance that there's a lot more of that than you even know. Because by the time you see the water dripping, it's hit a saturation point and you've reach that section where you're actually seeing it. Quite often then in other rainstorms, it leaks, you just don't know it. So the next thing I want to go over is just you don't see water, but you hear it. And a lot of times this comes in with metal fireplaces that are metal inside your walls. Excuse me. And you literally hear dink, 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 kind of that dripping sound. And that, once again, is a leak. You may not see the leak, but you hear it. There are instances where because of the way the cap and the chimney is designed that you hear water hitting the top of the cap like a tin roof. That can happen. But I would encourage you to double check that that's actually the case. I've had customers that think that's that and actually have ended up having leaks for sometimes 20 years and their whole fireplace is a rusted mess. So if you hear water inside your walls, you need to have someone come out and look at it. The next one is I don't hear it or see it, but I see this weird white powder that shows up all over the bricks, either on the outside of your chimney, or it could be where you put your logs or your gas logs or anything like that on the inside of the fireplace or on your hearth area. If it's brick or stone or anything else or even tile, you see a white powder and I keep cleaning it and it keeps coming back. And the answer, that's efflorescence. It is as the water kind of works its way through brick, stone, that brick, stone, tile, whatever it kind of works on, it leaves the minerals behind from the water. So that's what you're seeing. And that is a water leak. You may not see it. Another thing is actually look into the actual fireplace itself. If you see cracks or mortar holes or anything else, that could be a lot of different reasons. But one of the main reasons we see, especially in our market, is water. And once again, you may not even see water, but you're seeing the results of it. Because quite often water is the problem and everything you see is a symptom of the problem. And quite often people just fix the symptoms. They'll fix the brick and then they'll notice that, 6 months, a year later, it's the way it was again. And it's because you never actually fixed the problem. You just fixed the symptom, which was the brick falling apart. And that was because of the water. The next one we see quite often is sheetrock. It's quite obvious to a customer. If your sheetrock's wet, you see the patterns, it falls in. That's bad, obviously. But if you see sheetrock wet, that could be a potential chimney leak anywhere around it. That's the time to call a chimney expert out. Another thing is if you are closing your damper, that's the thing that opens and closes, and you see rust anywhere. You see rust on the front of the fireplace or anywhere on your fireplace at all. If the metal is rusted, that means it's wet. Even if you don't see water, it's wet or it has been wet in the past. So rust is an indication of something else is wrong. That's a symptom of another problem. And quite honestly, by the time you see that rust, you're usually years down the process because often leaks happen. No one even sees them until they start showing some of these symptoms, but they're very advanced systems. The next one is it's a chimney cap. Make sure that cap is actually on. I know a lot of you can't see the top of your chimney, which is fine. That's the purpose of maintenance, for us to come out, double check it's correct, it's on there, to double check it's connected correctly, that kind of thing. But whether you have a cap or not, or correct style cap for the correct fireplace, or the whole metal top, the way it's designed, going back to the very beginning, really, really matters. So that is something you really need to concentrate on, and that comes with inspections. Now, here at Lord's Chimney, we do free water leak consultations. So we will go out for free and we will consult with you on your water leak if you're within our service area, which is most of the Houston surrounding areas. And if you're not in Houston surrounding areas, we'll just figure out something so that we can break even, especially with gas prices going up. We need to at least cover our expenses, but we go out, we come up with a game plan for your leak and figure out, has that leak done damage other places in your chimney, which you may need an inspection, which does cost money. But that's important for us to get down to the nitty gritty of solving the actual problem. Quite often we run into people who, once we're out at their house, they've had 3, 4, 5 companies trying to fix this chimney leak. Usually roofer, mason, handyman, neighbor, and then us. And quite often the type of repairs they're doing are kind of Band-Aid repairs. They're temp repairs. You see a ton of, we'll see 3 and 4 different colors of caulking on top of each other, which means, it's very difficult. I mean, we have to work hard just to get that off, to get back to a starting point. So it's really better if you call someone who really knows what they're doing from the beginning. It will be cheaper in the long run, and we can get things repaired correctly, so that we actually fix the problem and you're not stuck with it over and over and over again. Because even a lot of times, companies will do a water leak repair and it will continue to leak and you don't even know it's leaking until years later, when it just happens to get worse. But we always hate when we have to do major repairs because of leaks, because if you catch them early, you don't have to do that stuff. So it's really, really important that we catch the leaks as early as possible and we fix them long-term correct, not Band-Aid repairs, long-term correct repairs. So guys, that's it for today. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. Hopefully this can be helpful and can help people, because that's our goal, is to help people fix their problems. And that's why they call us. So that's it for today. If you think this is helpful, share it with your friends. Maybe we can get some leaks repaired correctly instead of us coming 2 and 3 contractors after the fact. So share it, like it. Let's make sure that the Facebook and the YouTube algorithm are they like us, so we can help as many people as possible. So I appreciate it today, and I will see you next time. Thanks.